My high yield savings account has made me over $824 this year alone. That is free money, all because I'm keeping my emergency fund in a high yield savings account. If you compare that to my traditional savings account, something that's earning 0.01%, I made 65 cents this year. So I would much rather make hundreds of dollars in interest just for keeping my money in a high yield savings account than keep it in a traditional savings account that's literally earning me pennies. My high yield savings account has made me over $824 this year alone, compared to a traditional savings account that would make me about 65 cents. You can find high yield savings accounts offering over 4% APY every single year, which means that your money works harder for you. You literally don't have to do anything. Today, I'm walking you through what on earth a high yield savings account is, why it is the best place to keep your emergency fund or short-term savings, what to look for when you're searching for the best high yield savings accounts, and the top picks for you. Hi, my name is Allison Baggerly from Inspired Budget, and my goal is to help you budget better, save more, and live a life you love. Let's first cover what on earth a high yield savings account is. I'm going to be the first one to admit that it took me way too long to open one up, and I think it's because I was just clueless when it came to opening a high yield savings account. I always used the savings account that was connected with my checking account, which is your standard, more traditional savings account that's going to earn you very little money in interest. However, a high yield savings account is exactly what it says. It has a high yield when it comes to interest. It's giving you a higher interest rate. It is still a great way to grow your money without risk, meaning that you can find them where they are FDIC insured, meaning that typically up to $250,000. If something happens, you're going to get that money back. Another great thing about it is that your money is liquid, meaning that you can access it. It's not invested in the stock market. It's not invested in index funds. It's not in your 401k. You can get access to that money whenever you like. And it's a really great way for you to beat inflation, or at least try to beat inflation. When you're keeping your money in a traditional savings account, it is literally losing value because the cost of everything continues to go up. Our inflation is higher than the amount that that savings account is giving you. So when you keep your emergency fund or your savings in a high yield savings account, you might beat inflation or at least come even with it. So when should you use a high yield savings account? These are good for just storing your cash that you might need for an emergency fund or a short-term goal. For instance, I have several high yield savings accounts. Some of them are for my business expenses, like money I have set aside for my personal business, but then I have high yield savings accounts that we have for our family. This includes setting aside money for our emergency fund, money we are saving for vacation or Christmas spending, even our HOA dues. Those come out once a year, and so I set aside money for those every single month so that when the bill hits in January, I already have the money set aside. Now, I could keep all of this in a regular traditional savings account, but why would I when I can be earning money every single month just for keeping my emergency fund and savings in a high yield savings account? Now, I do not recommend using your high yield savings account for long-term goals like retirement. If you are wanting to save for retirement, then I recommend personally that you actually invest your money in the stock market. So I do not recommend keeping your long-term goals, your long-term financial goals in a high yield savings account, specifically retirement. But for me, for instance, I'm going to be saving up for a new car. Probably I'll get one in about 3 years. So I'm saving right now in a high yield savings account, putting money in there every single month so that when it's time for me to buy a new car, I can either have a really hefty down payment or, fingers crossed, pay for it in cash. Okay, so what do we need to look for when it comes to choosing the best high yield savings account for you? First off, we want to look at the APY or interest rate. This is the rate at which your money is going to grow. Sometimes there is a promotional period or a teaser. Maybe you might get a higher rate if you put in more money. That's something you're going to want to look at when choosing the best high yield savings account for you. The next thing is the minimum balance or how much money you need to deposit. Most high yield savings accounts don't say you have to have $1,000 in here for you to have the account. But some accounts do require you to have a certain amount of money inside that savings account to earn the higher interest rate. The thing here is you just need to read the fine print. And if there is a minimum balance that you need to have, just make sure you're comfortable meeting it. So that way you're not opening up a high yield savings account that you can't even reap the benefits of the interest rates. The third thing to look out for are fees or maintenance charges. The last thing you want is for your money to be taken away thanks to fees or charges. Now, I personally don't think that you should ever open a high yield savings account that is going to charge you a fee or some sort of like monthly maintenance amount. The reason is because there are so many out there that don't do this to you. So when you're signing up for the best high yield savings account for you, just make sure that you're choosing one that doesn't have these unnecessary fees. I mean, I think they're unnecessary. Now let's talk about liquidity, which is just a really fancy way for how fast can you access your money. I personally keep my emergency fund in a high yield savings account, meaning that if God forbid something happens, I'm going to need to access that money. However, sometimes there are a couple of business days that you have to wait for your money to get from your savings account to your checking account. Sometimes it's anywhere from 3 to 5 business days. If that's the case and you're thinking, I don't like having this time period where I might have to wait, then you can actually keep maybe a couple of $1,000 or 5% or 10% of your emergency fund in a standard savings account connected to your checking account. That's what I do. We keep about $4,000 in a standard savings account, and the rest of our emergency fund, that lives in a high yield savings account where it can be earning me money. Some accounts might not let you move money or transfer money over a certain number of times. So just be sure to look for that, especially if you think you're going to be transferring money back and forth multiple times a month. There might be a limit on how much you can do. The next feature is really important, and honestly, I should have put it first. You want to make sure that your high yield savings account that you choose is insured. Most of them are FDIC insured, which means that your money is safe up to a certain limit. When you're on the promotional page or the sign up page for these high yield savings accounts, they're going to tell you how much is insured. Typically, it'll say something like up to $250,000 FDIC insured, meaning that if something happens to this bank, then you are guaranteed to get back your money as long as it's under $250,000. The goal here is to, number one, make sure that the bank you are using is insured, FDIC insured, and that the amount you're going to be putting in there does not exceed the amount that they will insure. Finally, the last thing to consider is customer experience, or how easy it is to use the high yield savings account. It's nice to have something that's easy to use on your phone, has a really good experience. If you have any questions, you can actually talk to customer service, things like that. This is where reading reviews really comes in play. Okay, now's the time for us to actually look at the high yield savings account and see which ones are the best. Let's look at 5 high yield savings accounts that I think are really great, have awesome APYs, and check a lot of those boxes on what we just covered. The first one we're going to look at is SoFi. Now, I do need to say that these APYs will change. I forgot to mention that. They're going to change over time. They might go up, they might go down, meaning that it could go up from 4.5% to 5%, or from 3% to 3.5%, or from 4% down. So don't freak out if your interest rate does go down. It's not usually a reason to completely switch accounts. Our first high yield savings account on the list is SoFi. Right now, you can earn up to 4.5% APY and up to $300 with direct deposit. But of course, we need to look at what this is saying. You have to open up the checking and savings by a certain date, and you have to set up an eligible direct deposit within 60 days, meaning that you need to have your paycheck being directly deposited into that checking account to really get that high interest rate. This is when it is really important to literally zoom in and read the fine print. Here's what it says. You can earn up to 4.5% with a 0.7% APY boost for up to 6 months. So it is a promotional period here. And then, of course, you can read all the terms right here. One of the reasons why I do really like SoFi as an option is that they have no account fees. You can see right here, it says no account fees, but do you see this little 2 right here? We're gonna actually click it and we're gonna go down and see what it says. And it says, we do not charge any account service or maintenance fees. We do charge a transaction fee to process each outgoing wire transfer. So I'm don't usually do any wire transfers, so this is something that would be just not an issue for me. But if you find yourself transferring money wirelessly, doing a wire transfer often, it might be something that you want to consider. We said here that you can earn up to 4.5% with eligible direct deposit. So you will need to set up your paycheck to direct deposit into that checking account. So we're kind of looking at this as like a checking savings combo, if you will. They do 2-day early paycheck, which is really exciting. Basically, you get access to your paycheck 2 days sooner. No overdraft fee coverage. You know, I'm going to click this little thing right here. Let's see what that means. Okay, it says that overdraft coverage is limited to $50 on debit card purchases only and is an account benefit available to customers with, you basically have to be direct depositing $1,000 or more. So they will basically waive $50 of overdraft fees as long as you're direct depositing $1,000 or more. That's the way I'm reading it. SoFi does have a really easy to use app, so you can do everything in your app. And this says it has up to $3 million of additional FDIC insurance through a network of participating banks. Now, if you're not going to be putting $3 million into this account, maybe that's not something you should consider, but I'm going to read the fine print, so let's look at it. It says that SoFi Bank is a member FDIC and does not provide more than $250,000 of FDIC insurance. So what that means is that if you're going to have more than $250,000 in your account, you are going to want to look into this program right here. Now, I do want to look at the interest rates really quickly because they are advertising 4.5%, up to 4.5%. But I want to look at that because there are some strings attached. Now, I'm not saying that these strings are bad and that because there are strings attached that you shouldn't choose SoFi. It's just good to know what you're getting yourself into. So this is a promotion. Basically, they're offering you a boost during this time period. This promotion started August 5th and ends on January 31st. I'm sure they will have another promotion after that. And they talk about how to earn that 0.7% APY boost. Let me explain this. Typically, the high yield savings account for SoFi is 3.8% APY. If we scroll down, it says that right here. SoFi members with eligible direct deposit activity can earn 3.8% APY on savings and 0.5% on money in your checking. The boost, getting up to that 4.5% that they are advertising, requires that 0.7, requires that you meet some eligibilities. Let's look at it. There's basically two options for you to meet those eligibilities. It's either option 1 here or option 2 here. And once you meet these, then you will begin receiving the 0.7 APY boost on your savings account balances by the following business day. However, you're only going to get that for a period of up to 6 months. So this isn't a 4.5% forever. What I like about this is it entices people to come in and open up a high yield savings account, get started with SoFi, and that extra boost is a lot more than you're going to find in other high yield savings programs. And of course, I'm going to link down below to these high yield savings options. So you can click the link inspiredbudget.com/HYSA to see all of the up-to-date offers no matter when you're watching this. Next, let's look at Barclays. This is another high yield savings account that is from a bank that is very well known, very well established. Let's see what their current offer is. Right now, it says that you can earn up to 4.1% APY through a period of time, and you're getting a $200 bonus after depositing $30,000. So basically, they are rewarding you for putting more money in that account. If you're sitting here thinking, wait, I am after this promotional period, don't worry. These banks are always trying to get new people in, so they're always running different promotions. But here's what we need to talk about. It says earn up to 4.1% APY. Barclays is doing this kind of tiered APY program. You will see that if you deposit less than $10,000 and really up to $250,000, you're going to earn 3.9% interest, which honestly isn't bad. This is still a really good rate. When you go over $250,000, that's when you get bumped up to 4.1%. I love that they say here that there are no monthly maintenance fees and no minimum balance required to open. This means that you could literally open your account with $10. That's honestly what I did. When I opened my first high yield savings account, I literally transferred $5 over. I was like, okay, let me just get this thing open, just do the work, just get it open, and then I can wrap my head around moving everything over and setting up automatic savings withdrawals. When we go down to their FAQ section, we can see that yes, they are FDIC insured. I'm sure it's up to $250,000 because that's the standard amount. We get another confirmation that there are no monthly maintenance or annual fees, which is wonderful. And just a heads up, this one is actually called their tiered savings. This is another great option with 3.9% interest. Like, it's an easy yes for me. Our third option here is CIT Bank. I personally use CIT Bank as my high yield savings account, and I honestly love them. I have no bad things to say whatsoever. Right now, you can earn 3.85% on balances of $5,000 or more. Now, I'm not loving this. I have more than $5,000 in my CIT Bank account, so I am earning this 3.85% right now, which is great. However, it says that you only earn that amount with a balance of $5,000 or more. If you deposit or you keep less than $5,000 in your high yield savings account, you are only going to earn 0.25% APY. So if right now your emergency fund has less than $5,000 in it, I personally would not go with CIT Bank. And I'm saying this as a CIT Bank user, like I have my own account here. And honestly, you should still be getting the benefit of that interest rate, even if you have less than $5,000 in this account. Now, I will say that they do have great service. It's really easy to use. There are no monthly fees. So otherwise, I'm usually really happy with CIT Bank, but I don't know. This is rubbing me the wrong way. Like, let's give everyone the high APY, right? Like, don't you agree? Of course, they are a member of the FDIC, which means that your money is safe up to $250,000. And I can attest that using the app is very easy. The online experience is super simple. Overall, I love it. I give it like a 9 out of 10. Not that I've been rating these, but if I were to rate them, I give it a 9 out of 10 just because it's not offering that 3.85% to everyone. It's only for people who are putting in more than $5,000. One thing I do like about this though, and I will say, is that you don't have to have a direct deposit to earn this rate. If we go back to SoFi, you are going to basically be earning 4.5% if you do these things. But if you don't do those things, you will earn 3.8% APY, which is good. I mean, CIT Bank was 3.85. Like, that's not bad. And then Barclays was 3.9%. However, with this one, you have to set up direct deposit. So to even get that 3.8%, you do have to open up a checking and savings. So with that checking, you do need a direct deposit to be able to get that APY. One thing I love about CIT Bank and really Barclays is that you don't need to set up your direct deposit, your monthly paycheck from your employer to go into that account. You can keep your regular checking account wherever you have it. Okay, next, let's look at Bread Savings. Right now, they say that you can earn up to 4.2% APY on a high yield savings account. They have the little number 1 there, which means that, we're going to need to see what the terms are for this. Okay, it says that you do need a $100 minimum deposit. So you will need to send over $100 to actually open up the account. I love that they say here that there are no monthly maintenance fees, plus free incoming wire transfers and unlimited mobile check deposits. So if you're getting a lot of wire transfers coming in, then hey, this one seems really good for you. They have a really easy to use, just nice interface app right here. They are FDIC insured, which means that your money is safe up to $250,000. In this FAQ section, I really like this one right here that says, will I be charged a fee if my savings accounts falls below a certain balance? So they did say that you needed $100 to open up the account, but I like that it says here that we encourage you to maintain at least $100, but you're not going to be charged a fee if you go under $100. So that's good to know. Okay, now let's zoom in and really look at the terms for this APY. Okay, when I came down here to the terms, I was a little bit nervous because I thought, are they going to say that you only earn 4.2% after a certain amount or for a certain number of days? But no, right now, Bread Savings is offering you 4.2% APY, right? Is that what I said? 4.2%? 4.2% APY. I'm enjoying this. And all you need to do is deposit $100. That's it. It says that, of course, the rate can change after the account is opened. That's for every single bank. Every single high yield savings account, the rate can change. It does talk about opening a CD, but we're not talking about that in this video. So I think I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I don't know. I started rating these halfway through, but I love that. First off, it's 4.2%, which compared to what we've seen is really, really good. I like that even though there is a minimum opening deposit, like you do have to transfer over $100, I like that it's pretty low. They're not saying that you have to transfer over $5,000. I like that you don't have to have any direct deposit signed up for it. Like if I didn't have a high yield savings account right now, I think I'd be going with Bread Savings. I'm just saying, like, this is looking really good. Okay, the last high yield savings account we are going to look at is Valley Direct. As of the day that I am recording this, you can get 4.1% APY. This is for new customers only, like new people signing up for the account for the very first time. Existing customers are earning 3.5%, which is still great, but we've already seen some that are a little bit higher. Oh, I already see something I don't really like. It is a minimum of $1,000 to open. So you can't even open your account if you're not going to move over $1,000. Not a like deal breaker, but I know that some people don't have $1,000 to move over. Maybe their goal is to eventually save $1,000 and they are at $500. So I don't like that for this. Another thing is it says 4.1% introductory, meaning that's going to end. So let's see when it does. We need to zoom in on these terms and conditions, and we can see that it is a 12-month introductory promotion, meaning that after 12 months, your rate is going to fall back with the average everyday user who is currently getting 3.5%. When I scroll down to the FAQ section, I want to highlight once again, you do need $1,000 to open the account. One thing I do like is that it says, is there a minimum account balance required? And no. As long as you have 1 penny in your account, you can earn that APY, which is good. And I love that there's no monthly maintenance charge. For me personally, if I did not have a high yield savings account today, I think I would go with Bread Savings. They have a really competitive rate right now. It's 4.2% APY. It's only a $100 minimum deposit. There's no monthly maintenance fees. And it seems like this rate is not an introductory rate. It is just a rate that you're going to have until the rates change. High yield savings accounts are a great place to keep your money, your emergency fund, your short-term money. But here's the thing, I don't want you to spend forever combing through and trying to pick the very best one. The truth is that you're going to be earning so much more with a high yield savings account than a traditional savings account. And yes, while the rates will fluctuate, they will always be better than the national average. Now you might be thinking, Allison, I already have a high yield savings account. Should I switch from one to the other because one has a higher rate? And I personally don't think it's worth the hassle. Going from a 3.8% to a 4.2%, while it seems like it's a lot, it's really not that much. And I don't think it's worth the headache. But if you don't have a high yield savings account at all, and you're using a traditional savings account earning 0.05% interest, then by all means, pick whichever one works for you, set up your savings, move your emergency fund over to it, and reap the benefits of those higher APYs. If you enjoyed this video, then you are going to love my video where I'm sharing 7 money tips to help you save more money and stress less. If you don't want to miss any more money saving videos or videos about paying off debt, building wealth, then be sure to like and subscribe.